Welcome to America's zombie apocalypse of emotional numbness. If you're a brainless, doom-scrolling zombie, you should go ahead and leave right now because absolutely none of this will make sense to you. It's for mature people only. So if you're not a brainless zombie, like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with everybody you know. Let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? Alright, so today's theme is immature zombies. That's going to be today's theme. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. Alright. So we're going to begin with the male zombies. The man-child zombies. Oh boy, what a roller coaster. Here we go. Alright, so the first male man-child zombie, she's always nagging me. I just want to relax. Okay, you know, that could be true, but remember, we're at an extreme end of the spectrum here. He calls her desire for a partner nagging. Paying bills, showing up, being present. These are stress to him. You see how that works? Adult life is an interruption of his playtime. A real man would say, she's not nagging, she's asking me to be her partner. I show up because that's what men do. You see the difference here? We're not talking about abusive nagging or nagging on any level. No, we're talking about just basic things here. And it's just like when the zombies say, the immature zombies on the males, they say, anything she wants is just drama, when it's obviously not. Communication is not drama. Just because it could turn into drama doesn't mean everything is drama. I.e., problem solving, talking, having deep discussions. He just doesn't want any of it. Then why did you get married? Why did you get into a serious relationship? You know, why, right? So everything to him is either nagging or drama. So, okay, so brainless zombie number 2 in the man-child category. I work, don't I? What more does she want? Okay, so he just works. You know, my father was like this. You know, in the zombie category right here. You know, all you got to do is just work, right? That's all there is to it. You don't got to be a great father. You don't have to interact with your kids on a deep emotional level. You know, really make sure that they're doing good. There's so many, you know, deadbeat fathers out there who, yeah, they will work, but they're deadbeat in the other area, the domestic life. They don't do anything. So he brings home a paycheck and considers his job done, precisely. The emotional labor, the mental load, the daily effort of being a partner, that's her job. That's really wacky, man. A real man would say, working is what I do, showing up is who I am. She doesn't want my paycheck, she wants me, precisely. You know, there's so many brainless zombies these days who think that all women want is just money. That's it. You know, and use and abuse men. But that's not the truth, right? Because these zombies always hook up with female zombies and then they complain that they end up eating each other. Or the female zombie ends up eating them. Well, what did you expect? You have no idea who you're getting involved with and you're probably not even ready for a serious relationship as it is. In the zombie state of mind, which by the way, they don't have minds. Alright, so brainless zombie number 3 within the man-child category. I'll do it later. Okay, so a procrastinator, we've seen this before. Later is his favorite word. Dishes later, bills later, emotional conversations later, growing up later. Later never comes. A real man says later is a lie. I handle my life now so I can actually enjoy it later. Precisely. You see, this is what a mature adult man does. And so do real women, by the way. It's okay to procrastinate on some things that you do have to, in fact, put it later. But we're talking about an extreme where everything is for later. The ultra procrastinator when they don't care about their responsibilities. You see the drastic difference here? This series is all about drastic differences to the point where you're just dealing with the brainless zombie. Okay, so speaking of zombie number 4 within the man-child category, she knew who I was when she met me. He uses his past as an excuse to never grow. Change would require effort. So he insists his immaturity is just who he is. A real man would say, who I was isn't who I have to be forever. I grow for myself, for her, for us. Precisely. It takes mutual growth for a successful lifelong relationship. But that's too hard for most people these days, isn't it? Nobody's going to change me. I don't have to change. Well, then you're not ready. You're not ready for a serious potential lifelong relationship. Not with that zombie attitude of yours. But people, they don't want to hear it. They just want to mess around with each other and hope it lasts forever. Or when it all goes south and it fails, just find somebody else. Just find another body. That's precisely what zombies do. They look for another body to consume. All right, so zombie number 5 within the man-child category. I need my video games to decompress. All right, once again, there's nothing wrong with these, exiting the stressful world outlets. There's nothing wrong with it. But we're talking about extremes. He escapes into screens while his real life crumbles around him. The game gives him rewards. Real life requires work. He chooses the game. A real man says, I decompress without disappearing. My life doesn't pause while I play, and I refuse to miss it. Exactly. There's a time to play, but there's a time to act. Like, you really have to act now to solve your problems. Get the responsibilities out of the way. There's some days when you just want to, plop down on the sofa or the man cave and have at it. I get it. But when you make that day every day, just like the procrastinator we saw earlier, that's when it's a problem, isn't it? But there's so many brainless zombies out there, total man-children, who they think playing games is actually like part of life. It could be a small part of life for enjoyment. It's called entertainment. But it's not meant to be, this is my entire life is video games, comic books, movies, and that's it. Okay, so where's that partner by your side? And if you do have a partner by your side, what's the quality of your relationship with them? Because if it's in the toilet, which is normally what these man-children do, they pay attention to everything else except for their relationship, or they stay alone forever because they're addicted to video games and movies and comics and all of this, those outlets. Now we're dealing with brainless zombie man-children. Let's go ahead and shift gears over to the female zombies, the perpetual teenager. Isn't that interesting? Basically the female equivalent of a man-child, right? Alright, so brainless female zombie number 1. I'm just not ready to grow up yet. Okay, so she's 35 years old. Not ready has become her identity. She waits for life to start while years pass her by, precisely. Got another procrastinator here. A real woman says, growth doesn't wait for readiness. I show up for my life now, even when it's hard. Exactly. So it's just fear. These are fearful zombies. They keep kicking the can down the road till they hit that 10-foot titanium wall head first. They're like, how did I get here? It's too late now, sweetie zombie. Like failure to act when you should have acted. Even with a buffer zone of about a year or two, you had plenty of time to act, some type of grace period, if you will, and they still don't act. They keep kicking that can down the road, kick, until they slam into that dead-end wall. That's what a zombie does. All right, so brainless zombie number 2 on the female side. He should handle the adult stuff. That's not my thing. Okay, so he should handle the adult stuff. That's not my thing. Wow. Bills, planning, responsibility. She sees these as his job. She wants a partner to be her parent. A real woman says, I'm not looking for a dad. I'm looking for a partner. I handle my share because that's what adults do. Okay, so that's pretty legit, isn't it? It's a 50-50 situation. Now, if you prefer your husband to handle all the bills, I can understand that. That's fine. But you still got to know what's going on a very basic level, even when it comes to finances. You got to learn things. Now, when it comes to fixing things, sometimes men are better than women in a lot of categories. But I've seen plenty of women fix things the same as men do. It just depends. Do you want to learn how to do it? Yes or no? You know, I think it's pretty honorable when the guy goes up a very tall ladder, but how about you guys don't put both of your lives at risk and you just pay an expert to do it because they're pretty much guaranteed going to do it, 100% safely. When it comes to do-it-yourself projects at home, look, there's a few exceptions, maybe a lot more exceptions to this, but the point is to learn to grow with your partner to handle responsibilities. Don't just put it all on one partner. Now we're in the brainless zombie mode where, I don't know, he does everything, I just chill. That could go both ways, by the way. See how that works? All right, so brainless zombie number 3, I need to find myself first. Once again, there's probably nothing wrong with that, but let's see what we mean by the zombie mode here. She's been finding herself for decades. It's a convenient excuse to never commit. See how extreme we are? Never be fully present. Never be accountable. A real woman says, I find myself in the living, not the waiting. That's very well said. I don't need to be finished to be present. Exactly. You can't wait forever, people. You can't wait forever. Because 1 year turns into 5. 5 turns into a decade. A decade turns into 2 decades. You don't believe me? Keep kicking the can down the road. The years are just going to pile on. Just like weight can pile on. And then you become obese, morbidly obese, before you know it. You got to be careful with these things in life. Don't be procrastinating. It will creep up on you like a zombie. A zombie in its own form, figuratively. But you'll end up becoming a zombie the more you kick everything down the road. Finding yourself. The present is now. That's the time to live in. Alright, so brainless zombie number 4, drama just follows me everywhere. She creates chaos and calls it fate. Every relationship is a crisis. Every friend group has conflict. She's a common denominator, but never sees it. Yeah, maybe you're the problem. Ever thought about that? A real woman says, if drama follows me everywhere, maybe I'm the one carrying it. Exactly. I choose peace over chaos. Yeah, be a problem solver, not a troublemaker, right? I've seen this with a lot of women out there, especially. Guys, not so much. It's more the drama on the women's side, where they wonder why they have, they're surrounded by zombie friends and zombie family members, all this toxicness, right? It just goes viral at that point. And then they're like, okay, it's all everybody else's fault except for me that, all my relationships and friendships and acquaintances, I can't trust anybody, I hate the whole world. That's probably your fault at that point, because the odds are not everybody in this world is going to be against you. That just doesn't make any sense, like probability-wise. So maybe you're the problem. Maybe you're the one who's refusing to change for the better. It doesn't mean to conform and be like everybody else in the world. It just means that why are all your relationships problematic? I'm talking about an exaggeration. Like you don't get along with anybody, and so you isolate yourself, you hate the entire world, yada yada, etc., etc. That's the type of brainless zombie we're dealing with here. One who chooses not to engage in what's called self-growth. Positive change for the better. Alright, so the last brainless zombie on the female side here. I'm spontaneous and fun. Nothing wrong with that. He's boring for wanting stability. Okay, that could be a problem. She confuses chaos with fun, instability with freedom. The man who wants a real life is controlling or boring. Yeah, that could be a problem. Because stability takes maturity, okay? You can have fun in games, but without responsibility and maturity, you're screwed. Trust me, that's not going to work out. A real woman says, fun without foundation is just chaos. Precisely. I want both. Someone to laugh with and build with. Yeah, because you're not going to build a future together if you guys are just having a bunch of fun and games. There's a time to work hard and there's a time to play hard. And many times, working hard means getting the perfect relationship just right together. Because perfection does exist. The more you work on your guys' connections, the better for your lifelong relationship. Because it will last an entire lifetime. But you have to, you get whatever you put into it is what you get out of it. That's the way a relationship really works. So yeah, lots of immature zombies for today's show. That pretty much covers a lot of it. But there's a little bit more than that. But yeah, that pretty much covers the gist of it. Pretty satisfied with that. So with that said, that's all for now for today's show. Get access to my free 1 hour movie, Unforgettable Movie, by becoming a free member on my website listed here, where you can also become a potential guest speaker on one of my shows, Let's Talk About Love. You get to choose a topic under the relationship category, and we'll go from there. Much love, everybody.